Are you insane, guys? Are you crazy? Do you truly think the American government is so naive to think the public can handle disclosure? No way, guys. Ask the world. Ask the greater world. Ask the billions of people who live outside America. Clear question. Can Americans handle the fact that we're not the highest intelligence? We're not the most powerful. We're not in control. And ultimately, that there was no Jesus Savior coming back prophet. Best case scenario, that story was based on the aliens returning. They can't handle it, guys. They made Trump into some kind of religious figure, a New York City real estate developer. And they turned on people like Bill Gates and Fauci, who work for the betterment of humanity. They're not perfect, but that's humans. And that's probably aliens too. They're not perfect. American culture is not mature enough to handle alien disclosure. If it was, it would have happened because other countries have had people disclose and the people accepted. That's it. They didn't need to see photos. They're not so immature. Guys, I see crimes committed in the US and everybody says, show me a photo of the perpetrator. And I'm thinking, who the hell needs to see a photo of the perpetrator? Maybe if he did something extremely heinous, but if it's just a run-of-the-mill crime, everyone looks the same. Who cares what color his skin is or how tall he is or how ugly he is or fat he is or short he is? What is this? That's an immaturity. You'd have a little 6-year-old say, show me a photo. And then from that photo, Americans would make all kinds of disparaging remarks. That's something you have to understand. And this is probably universal. Teenagers, humans, we have a certain emotional approach to the world. All of us, Christian, non-Christian, whatever. Especially the young ones, and especially when we're in certain funny moods. If aliens don't have a sense of humor, or they don't like being insulted, it's a risk to introduce them to our society. And the aliens, if they have truly superior intelligence, will have looked at American culture and Western culture and say, they're not ready for us. A pandemic is nothing unique. It's happened before. The stages of the pandemic were not surprising. That's exactly how it's happened before. It killed some people, vaccinated. Eventually, the pandemic is over. Nothing was surprising. You wear masks, like every other time in history. Americans couldn't handle it. Guys, every other country handled it like adults. Americans devolved into a cult-like mentality where it was good versus evil. This is not a society, guys, that can be introduced to extraterrestrials, which are in control. Ultimately, that's really would have to be revealed. We'd absolutely realize right away that American government, Chinese, Russians, they are subservient to some degree. If there's an agreement, if we're in contact, which we are, we're not calling the shots. Not all of them. Christians couldn't handle that in the U.S. They want to believe they're superpower number one, even as China surpasses them in every way. All right? China will be so far ahead of the U.S., you're still going to have Christian Americans saying America is the number one. And that dissonance, cognitive dissonance, drives them into rage, anger, despair, suicide, homicide, mass shootings, school shootings. Guys, American elites, the military, the CIA, they see what I see. They look at COVID objectively and say, wow, our society absolutely failed. Our people lost their minds. Half of them became semi-psychotic. Half of them are never coming back. The QAnon are lost forever, a lot of them. This didn't happen around the world in nearly the same amounts. The only ones that got affected is who became addicted to American media. And who had a Christian influence, a religious background. Ultimately, guys, you can't mix a higher intelligence, a superior being, or even another species to a species that believes in fairy tales and that lives and dies and gets angry and rageful about other people's lives. which is what Christianity does. See, Christianity, unlike the other religions, has an evangelical recruitment process. The Jews don't try to get you to convert. The Muslims don't really try to get you to convert. People will convert to either or, but the Christians go out and try to change other people. They're going to try to change the aliens. Can you imagine if the aliens are 20 years old and sleep with alien girls who are 10 years old? I mean, Americans are going to go crazy and calling them pedophiles. You cannot mix an immature society with another race, even if that race is at the same level, because another race is not going to be as emotionally immature. We may even be more intellectually mature. We may have technologies they don't have, other than spaceflight, right? We may be smarter, ultimately, as a species. We may just not have discovered that one secret to anti-gravity. But emotionally, even myself, I cannot imagine another species being emotionally as immature as myself. And I'm not that emotionally mature, but I'm human. And we're all emotional. And can't you see it, guys? What are you waiting for? What are you really waiting for that? That is insane. You know what it is? It's the same thing like waiting for them to confirm that China released COVID virus on purpose. Even if they knew, they're not going to tell you that because that's going to cause too much chaos. You can't handle it, guys. The bottom line is you have to realize that a lot of your citizens, they can't even handle the truth about transgenderism that's been around for centuries, guys. Centuries. Forever. Drag shows go back hundreds of years. And they're denying its legitimacy as a cultural phenomenon. I have to ask the intelligent Americans, where were you the past few years? Did you not witness the reaction of your country? And did you not compare it to the reaction to other countries? Because we did. And no other country lost their collective minds into psychosis like the USA. I would say of all the countries in the world, the least prepared for disclosure is the United States of America. No, you can't do it, guys. You have too many weapons and too many people who will lose their mind when it is officially announced. Officially, we were there. This is the Jesus story. Wasn't God's son. His mother thought the gardener was pretty hot. She fucked the gardener. She needed an excuse. She needed an excuse for having this baby. That was it. So Jesus is not just not God's son. He's the son of a human being who had sexual urges, which is completely against what Christianity wants to believe about us. It's a sin. It's a messed up situation, guys. And there's no way we can introduce those kind of people to extraterrestrials. It would be a shame. And I'm sure a lot of people in the American military are like, we can't do it. That's too embarrassing. All right? So please stop it, waiting for disclosure. You're always going to be waiting. You'll be waiting forever, like Donald Trump being reinstated magically through the powers of Steve Bannon.